Okay. I need a motion to bring the town board meeting of July 19, 2012, 7 p.m. to order.
I'll make that motion.
Second that motion.
Salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for the men and women in the military. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Reamer.
Here.
Councilwoman Perotti.
Here.
Councilman Haas. Councilwoman Doyle.
Here.
And Supervisor Flood.
Here. Public comment? Highway report? Town clerk report?
There's two things I'd like to just remind everybody of. Number one is that we are not selling hunting licenses, fishing licenses, any kind of license until I've been approved to be the seller. Maureen is gone, things were sold under her name, so now I'm trying to transfer things into my name so that by the 14th of August, hunting season starts, the licenses go on sale, I'll be able to do that. The second thing I'd like to remind everybody is the county help for helping with your house. Christmas in July, whatever, rebuilding, right? You should come and get an application because they really do help you with your house. And that's all.
I think that deadline is through December, but it should, or maybe
It's
it's sooner than that. Okay, so the applications are available here at Town Hall, and Patty can help you walk through the steps to make sure that you're eligible. There are a series of questions, yes, no.
It's easy.
Questions, very easy,
Yeah.
that she'll walk you through in no time. Worth doing.
Resolutions, we're gonna skip over this wastewater one. Jonathan and Ed Mills are coming to go over some stuff with us. As soon as they get in, we'll be done. We'll do that. The next resolution is resolution number
40.
40 of 2012, request to lower maximum speed limits. The stretch of Old Route 22, CR 81 from Dunn Road to the hamlet of Wassaic, whereas the Town Board of Amenities requested the speed limit on Old Route 22, CR 81 between Dunn Road and the hamlet of Wassaic in the town of Amenia be posted at 35 miles per hour, and whereas the application must be made to the State of New York to establish the regulation of a lower maximum speed limit, and whereas said application of the State of New York must be made by adoption of a town resolution by the town board and by application to the county superintendent of highways of Dutchess County, and now therefore be resolved that the town board will request the New York State Department of Transportation establish an area speed reduction of 30 miles per hour at said location. And I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Councilwoman Doyle.
Yes.
Councilman Haas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer.
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood.
Yes. This number 41? Resolution number 41 of 2012, whereas the town of Amenia has adopted local law number 3 of 2007, establishing the powers and duties of the town constables, and whereas section 10-7 of the law authorizes the town board to adopt a resolution granting special duties to the town constables upon a determination that the assignment of those special duties is appropriate and that is consistent with the scope of the town constable's powers and duties as peace officers. And whereas the first annual Gabby Farkas Memorial Softball Tournament is scheduled to be conducted in the town of Amenia from August 24th through August 26, 2012, and whereas the town board concludes that it would be in the best interest of the town of Amenia and of the public and health and welfare for the town constables to assist in parking and traffic control for this event, and to generally patrol the Beekman Park grounds and surrounding area during the event. And then, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby grants the town constables that the special duties enumerated in sections 10(7)(c), D, E, F, and G of the town code of the town of Amenia town code during the annual softball tournament from August 21st, 2012 through August 26, 2012, including the period of time prior to and after the event necessary to patrol the area for safety and to assist in controlling and directing the parking and traffic generated by this event. And it is further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town constable to carry a firearm as authorized by section 10(6) of the town of Amenia town code while performing the special duties identified in this resolution, and is further resolved that the Amenia Fire Company shall pay for the cost associated with the town constables providing the services identified in this resolution.
Supervisor Flood,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Reamer.
Yes.
Number 42 of 2012, annual Gabby Farkas Memorial Softball Tournament. Whereas the Amenia Fire Company has scheduled its first annual Gabby Farkas Memorial Softball Tournament for August 24, 2012 through August 26, 2012. And whereas the Amenia Fire Company has requested that the town board rescind the open container law, and whereas the Amenia Fire Company has requested that the town board authorize the hiring of constables as needed for the parade and or carnival. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of Amenia hereby rescinds the open container law for the carnival area in addition to authorizing the hiring of the constables as needed for the event. Be it resolved that this resolution shall become effective immediately. I'll
Supervisor
motion
Flood.
this.
I'll second that motion.
Supervisor Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Doyle.
Yes.
Resolution number
43.
43. Authorize the town board to transfer funds. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary and unanticipated to amend the budget. And whereas the town budget line 16201-1, 16201.1.0 building PS requires an increase in the amount of $1,845 for the purpose of personal services for custodian. And whereas the town budget line 16204.1.133 building CE cleaning building requires a decrease in the amount of $1,845. And whereas the town budget line 16201.1.0 building EQ requires an increase in the amount of $395 for the purpose of software for the time clock. And whereas the town budget line 19004.1.49 special items CE contingencies requires a decrease in the amount of $395. And whereas the town budget line 16704.1.61 central print mail legals requires an increase in the amount of $1,096.79 for the purpose of legal ads. And whereas the town budget line 19004.1.49 special item CE contingencies requires a decrease in the amount of $1,096.79. And whereas the town budget line 13104.1.40 Director of Finance account supports requires an increase in the amount of $1,392 for accounting services rendered. And whereas the town budget line 19004.1.49 special items contingencies requires a decrease in the amount of $1,392. And whereas the town budget line 71104.1.000 Amenia Park requires an increase in the amount of $597.49 for basketballs and hoops, and whereas the town budget line 19004.1.49 special item CE contingencies requires a decrease in the amount of $597.49, and whereas the town budget line 14204.1.23 attorney CE codification requires an increase in the amount of $1,918.37 for general code supplement, and whereas the town budget line 19004.1.49 special items CE contingencies requires a decrease in the amount of $1,918.37. Now therefore it be resolved the town board authorize the transfer of lines to process the transaction. Someone want to make that motion?
One second.
You make the motion.
Oh, I'll make the motion.
And second?
I'll second it. I have a question, though.
Yep.
Okay, so, it's
Do you wanna vote on
July.
this? Do you want to vote on this?
First, we're gonna have discussion.
We can have
Okay.
discussion first.
So these lines, are going to bring us whole again, but it's only July and we have 6 more months to go. Are these quantities of money sufficient to carry us on throughout the rest of this year?
Yeah, the first one is, we have the line from, what was the name of the original, the cleaning people, because they were a contract, and John is an employee, we move it from their contract to him, so the
Okay.
money's there.
We aren't spending additional
No.
funds. It's simply moving it to the correct line.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, I understand that.
Legals we paid, that was for the,
I know the
codification, that was in the line. We're just moving that around.
original. But is that gonna carry us through the end of the year?
Yeah, we should be done pretty much with the bids, because we did bid a lot,
Yeah, no, I know.
We're over.
We still have
right?
probably one more thing, the transfer station, if we're gonna go out
Yep.
and.
Well,
see
we
some
bid
more
that,
bids.
well, yeah, if we have to
Gotta do that
solicit more
again.
bids, yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Account support, are we okay there?
Yep,
Is that for Cedar?
yes, and then we're going back in, we got a bill from the last budget, they went over the last budget figures, and I think they charged us a little bit too much, so I know Sherry's going back in and see if we can get it reduced.
I know, they're expensive.
Yeah,
They are
but they do a
good.
great job,
I
and
know.
we've used them more than
Right.
probably in the past, a little bit more.
All right, but next year it shouldn't
Yep.
be as heavy.
Yep. So and there were some other things that, if you've looked at the budget, that were over, but most of it's NYSERDA, which is we get reimbursed.
Okay,
Legals, we were a little bit over. CT mail, NYSERDA, they're picking that up. And the $395 for the software, that's for the computer system for the time clock.
okay.
And that's it, we're up to speed, I think. The only other, well, I'll tell you in a minute. Resolution number 40,
We need to vote on this.
oh, we need to vote, oh, sorry.
Councilwoman Barody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Haas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood?
Yes. Resolution number 44. Let me just read this letter. From the Wassaic Fire Company, Wassaic, New York, to whom it may concern. This letter was dated July 9th, 2012. Our company recently received some devastating news about one of our members, Jason Whaley. He has been in and out of the hospital for months with no clear diagnosis and has had multiple surgeries and has missed a lot of work. This weekend, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Jason has been a volunteer fireman for 18 years, first with Jay's Ketchum Hose Company in Dover Plains, New York, and most recently with the Wassaic Fire Company. He is currently the captain of the Wassaic Fire Company. He has served on various committees and makes almost every call. On July 27th, the Lantern Inn in Wassaic and the Wassaic Project are co-hosting a benefit night for Jason. The events begin with a cakewalk at 6 p.m. at Maxim Mills. The band Shadow Creek will begin at 8 p.m. at the Lantern Inn. There's a $5 cover charge. The Wassaic Fire Company will be selling food. We invite you to join us for that evening to help one of our own. And if you cannot join us but would like to make a donation, donations can be made to the Wassaic Fire Company. Please indicate that your donation is for Jason Whaley. We thank you in advance for your support. Sincerely, Chief Scott Boardman, Assistant Chief Kenny Elliott, and members of the Wassaic Fire Company. Obviously, they're having a huge benefit for him. I believe there are 10 or 15 or 20 fire departments that are all going to help. So they're asking, there's going to be a lot of people there, so there's a resolution here to rescind some of the open container law, and also they've asked that the town road and from the firehouse, which I'll read, the resolution number 44 of 2012, benefit night for Jason Whaley. Whereas the Wassaic Fire Company is hosting a benefit night for Jason Whaley on July 27, 2012, and whereas the Wassaic Fire Company has requested that the town board rescind the open container law, and whereas the Wassaic Fire Company has requested Firehouse Road in the hamlet of Wassaic from the post office to Kelsey's Bridge be closed from 4 p.m. until midnight. And now therefore be resolved that the town of Amenia hereby rescinds the open container law for the event area in addition to the closure of the Firehouse Road from the post office to the Kelsey's Bridge, as it is essential to ensure the safety of the participants. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall become effective immediately. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Carody,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilman Raymer,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Doyle.
Yes.
There you go.
The residents of Amenia, obviously this is a single parent and he needs a lot of help. So he's in, we have to help our own. So hopefully everybody will go. Resolution number 45, authorization to the town board to transfer funds, community beautification, Fountain Square. Whereas the town has the authority to transfer funds when necessary and amend the budget, and whereas the town budget line 85104.1.131, community beautification, Fountain Square, requires an increase of $7,112.50 for repairs and improvements, whereas the town board authorizes $7,112.50 from the fund balance. This is the unused balance grant funds from 2010 for the Fountain Square. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board approves the transfer of the necessary budget lines.
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Carody,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Raymer,
Yes.
and Supervisor Flood.
Yes. Resolution number
46.
of 2012, adoption of registration form and fee schedule for the abandoned property law at a regular meeting of the town board of the town of Amenia. Town board held at the town of Amenia Town Hall on the 19th July of 2012 at 7 p.m. I'll make the motion. Okay, Vicky Doyle, seconded by Councilperson Victoria Parodi, moved the following resolution to wit. Whereas at a duly held meeting on July 12, 2012, the town board adopted local law number 3 of 2012, a local law amending the town board of the town, amending the town of Amenia Town Code by adding section 12-51.1, abandoned property, and whereas the provisions of the abandoned property law require the registration of vacant property, by the owner of record in the Town of Amenia Building Department on forms provided by the Building Department. And whereas the provisions of the abandoned property law further require the town board to establish by resolution a fee schedule for registering of such vacant property, and whereas the town board now wishes to adopt a registration form and the fee schedule for the registration of vacant property under the abandoned property law. And whereas the adoption of the registration form and the fee schedule for the registration of vacant property is an unlisted action and therefore not subject to review under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby adopts the registration form and fee schedule attached hereto as Schedule A as the registration for the owners of record and vacant property to file with the Town of Amenia Building Department under the abandoned property law. And the foregoing resolution was voted upon with all councilpersons voting as follows.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Councilman Haas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Carody?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Rima?
Yes.
Victoria Pearlie actually needs the kudos for this because it was her idea to do this. So
That was great. Wonderful.
she should get the credit for that one. Resolution number
47.
47. Resolution authorizing publication of a legal notice regarding a public hearing on the Dutchess County CDBG program, whereas the Town of Amenia is once again participating in the Dutchess County Community Development Block Grant Urban Consortium program for 2013, and whereas the Town Board intends to seek a CDBG to fund a top priority community project in 2013, and whereas the town is required to publish a legal notice and host a public hearing to solicit ideas from the public for a CDBG project in 2013, and now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes publication of a legal notice announcing a public hearing on the CDBG program to be held on August 16th, 2013. Motion made by?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. I second.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Parodi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilman Haas?
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood?
Yes. Everyone get a chance to read the minutes?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. We need a motion to accept the minutes of 6/4, 6/14, and 6/21.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Parodi?
Yes.
Councilman Haas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood?
Yes. You want to do this? Are you going to do this? When we're ready.
Yeah, let me know.
Supervisor's report. Okay, well, let's go back up for a second. Ed Mills is here from the county for the wastewater.
Advertise.
I already have it. Just leave it there. Should we do that?
Tonight, we were going to do a resolution for the wastewater sewer district in Amenia, but I got a call this afternoon from Ed, and we have to reapply for the funds from the EFC Corporation. Just want to come up. Ed, this is Ed Mills from the county wastewater.
Hi, Ed Mills from Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority. One of the items that's been driving the timetable of the creation of sewer district in the hamlet in the past couple months has been the availability of special hardship funding through the Environmental Facilities Corporation. The Water Authority had applied and received a determination last September based on a project scenario that had involved using the Silo Ridge wastewater treatment plant when that was built, and also envisioned a larger service area. I was advised recently by gentleman from the EFC that because the project size has changed and the method of treatment has potentially changed, that we need to revisit our application and resubmit the hardship funding request to EFC. With that in mind, and that process is going to take place in the next 10 to 12 days, that we would resubmit that application, and it would be based on the reduced size area of the proposed district as outlined in the Clark report. So with that in mind, and since we have to get reapproved for eligibility for that hardship money, it's our recommendation that the town defer any type of action with respect to moving forward with the district until such time as we've heard back from EFC that funding is going to be available. And by funding, I mean the 0% interest loan to this new project going forward.
Does that jeopardize our time schedule with the legislature to come before that for?
Well, it does impact that, because we were on a very tight time frame as it was with going before the legislature. But in reviewing the outcome, if we don't get that determination of hardship eligibility for this new project, then it kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It makes what the premise of the Clark report is null and void then, because again, that premise was that the project would have 0% interest hardship money.
I see all the numbers were based on the financing being 0%.
Because the project, otherwise, if you go through a traditional bond approach, you're looking at 4 to 4.5%
Right.
interest, and whatever that's substantial.
Right.
So that's our recommendation, and with that in mind, we would hope to hear by the end of August from EFC as to whether they are going to move forward or not on the application, and then we take it from there. Also, because this project is different in its scope than the original project, well, one of the original projects that we were working on with the wastewater committee back in 2009, when we first presented the idea to our governing board, the Water Authority governing board. We need to go back to our board and ask them for their consent if we should continue to go forward with this project based on the Clark report and the revised scope. Our board had green-lighted us a couple years ago based on the premise that Silo Ridge would be part of the equation as far as providing the treatment plant capacity. And since this particular scenario does not involve Silo Ridge, but involves the construction of a treatment plant to support the district, we need to bring this back to our board for them to consider.
Can we consider this just a bump in the road? Or is it more?
Well,
Remains to be seen, I guess, huh?
every bump has a different effect on your car. So I don't, it could be a bump, it could be a big pothole. I don't know at this point.
Okay.
But
Well,
it is going to
hope for
slow
the
the
best.
process a little bit.
Okay.
And again, this project, the Water and Wastewater Authority is interested in moving it forward as long as it has the support of the Amenia community. If the people of the community feel that it's too expensive, or they're not ready for it at this point in time, we would like them to come out and let you know about it, let us know about it before we continue down the road, so that there's no misunderstanding going forward. So,
Okay. Thanks for the information.
I did receive a couple calls today from citizens that are in the district, and they're obviously concerned about the price. So, and I did tell them that we also, as a board, feel the price is too high, and we have to get it down. You know, but unfortunately, we have to move this thing into this next step in order to apply for the grants, because like the egg before the chicken or the chicken before the egg, or whatever way you want to put it, in order for us to apply for more grants, we have to have the district set and resolved, correct? And that's what we have to do.
You
And
do,
I spoke to Candace the other day also, and it's the same thing. We can't move forward with any other grants until we have this district set.
This is true. The one thing, just to put it on the table, the opportunities for grants for these type of projects are very few, and a lot of people talk about, oh, we'll go get this grant, that grant. Those opportunities don't exist anymore. We've looked at the pool of resources available, and it's dried up considerably. So, we could. We'll say we'll apply for grants, and we have, and in fact, the hardship determination is part of that process. But we make no guarantees or even offer any optimism that we will get grants for this project in the next 24 months.
Well, the EFC grant could be an outright grant. That is a possibility.
Well, I think as far as what they've determined this project's eligible, the hardship funding, that's as good as it's going to get from EFC. I don't suspect that they have any other programs that Amenia would be available to take advantage of, and this is probably the best that's going to be made available by EFC, is the 0% interest.
I would mention that I went to the Association of Towns meeting in February. Senator Schumer assured the 400 municipal officials, 500 municipal officials who were attendants at the breakfast the first day, that there would be money, I believe it was in October, specifically set aside for assisting communities with aging infrastructure or new infrastructure for water, wastewater projects. I will write the letter based on Janet's the head of the wastewater committee, to our senators and at the New York State level. Obviously we have less money available, but I think that it's not, there are other options in addition to the typical agency funding that we've had in the past. But I think member items are still a reality, and that money is being set aside for these projects, and I hope that we will be able to get even a member item at some level to offset it. I think, the town of Amenia is a very good candidate for funding. We got $100,000 from Senator Ball with minimal, effort, a letter to them explaining the important economic revitalization that's needed for our downtown, and I think this is as good a case as we can make for it. We are very low income here in Amenia, and so we therefore qualify and get a lot more assistance than you would if you were in Westchester or some other town. I think we need to leverage as much as we can, and I appreciate the levity that you're giving us. We're going to have to work twice, 3 times as hard as we have in the past to find money, but it's still there in different places, I hope.
Also, the bids are going to come in less, I would think. I think we're seeing that in everything that we're bidding. The bids are coming in at least half or considerably less than what the projects were originally scheduled to be at. So I would assume that at some point, like the engineering is high, and this is the other things that are high. Maybe a different system that's cheaper, so on and so forth. So I don't know.
Well,
And community development block grant. I mean, community development block grant is for affordable, affordable housing for this community. And if it offsets affordable housing, I believe that is only $150,000 typically. But we have been successful, and I would suggest that Bill look into it for eligibility for 2013 project. As just to help offset some of the costs of going forward, or maybe.
Yep, Janet. Thank you, Ed.
Janet Reagan, Chair of the Wastewater Committee. At our committee meeting, we were unanimous in going forward, urging you to go forward as I wrote to you. And that was before we knew about this. But we were also very concerned about the cost, as you all are, and we all are in the town of Amenia. But one of the things that I think is a real consideration that the town needs to remember is that the hamlet is in a situation where there is a very high water table and septic systems don't work really well in the town, in many parts of the hamlet area. And it can become a health and safety issue, and it can also become something where we are told by DEC, the Board of Health, whatever, as a town, we're going to give you an order of consent, you're going to have to do this, and it doesn't matter how much it costs. You're going to have to bite the bullet and do it. So I think that, we've tried to be mindful of the taxpayer dollar, for sure, and we're going to continue to work to try to find grants and other ways of minimizing the cost. But I think that, this is a need that has been recognized in the town of Amenia for over 60 years. And people have talked about it, and wrung their hands over it, but nobody has been willing to say, yes, this infrastructure is critical, we have to do it. And it's necessary on public health and safety, it's necessary for economic development, it's necessary for all of these reasons, and I think that, I hope anyway, this is just a bump on the road, and that we will in fact be able to continue and do what we have to do so that we are actually eligible for funds, because nobody is going to give us money until we've actually created a sewer district. So that's my comment.
One thing I have heard that we need to do a better job at is publicizing when our meetings are, so that the public has a good opportunity to participate and understand better. So I think we had tentatively set a meeting in August, but I don't think we're ready. Yep. So we'll make sure that we get it in the hometowner and publicize it as best we can. August 15th is usually about middle of the month is the deadline for hometowner, and try and get it on our website and on our television. Get more information out there about when our meetings are.
And the people I spoke to today are concerned that the public doesn't know, and obviously we may have to go door to door with people in the district and explain exactly what we're doing. Obviously, the public needs to be notified as to how it's going to cost and what it's going to cost, and obviously we're very concerned about the price, and it's got to come down, there's no question.
I don't think everyone knows whether they're in the district or not. And I
that's an
think,
issue.
yeah,
Isn't it on
I
the
think,
website? Isn't that study on the website? Yes.
Feasibility
I
is-
know, but I think
Yeah.
a letter that needs to go out to each person who is in the sewer
good
district so that they know they're in it. Because people are questioning, am I in it, am I not? They don't know.
Planning to do that, but anybody who doesn't know at this point can, in fact, go to the website and see the entire clerk report. All of that information is in it.
There should be also one here at the town hall that people, if they don't have access to our town website,
There are
we can
Yeah, I'll put
provide
one
them
in
with
the
a
town
map
clerk's office.
and a list of all the different properties. If you know your property number, tax ID number, and Ron can help you, or anybody here in the town hall can help you find your tax ID number. You can find out exactly how many benefit units you've been assigned and get some real information about your property. Just come to the town hall.
Sure.
It's all here.
Supervisor's report. On August 18th, they're having a recreational event here. It's going to call, I think it's called Sundance. They're having bands, open fire pit, food from the, I think the Amenia Fire Department's doing some food, the Wassaic Fire Department's involved, the Lions Club's involved, a lot of organizations here getting involved, we'll have music, for the night. There's posters that are being made now, they're gonna come out. I don't even know the name of the band at this point. But there's more information coming out with that, so the public, it'll be free to the public. So that we're gonna have a good community day, good community evening, some fun, and bring your kids and so on and so forth. So that it'll be a good night, and more information's coming out as we speak. They're drawing the stuff up now. More on the NYSERDA grant. We renegotiated with them. We could not get the windows in time to replace the gym windows, to fix the ones that had to be fixed. So what they allowed us to do is to, we had the auditorium insulated. It was done on Monday. So at this point, this whole building has been insulated through the whole thing with 8 inches of foam insulation, which is, I think, an R40 insulation at this point. So actually, if you walk up the stairs, you could feel the difference in the building. So that's done. Monday morning, they start the light fixtures in the hallways, in some of the small offices. They'll all be replaced, I think, by Tuesday, and I believe that's it. We've used their money, and that's the last of the project. And I know Victoria and Mike are working on once this is done, we can apply for another NYSERDA grant for the facilities, the buildings. Existing facilities. So that paperwork, I know Mike and Victoria are working on that now. So
There's additional incentives available to us for the.
So we can move forward with the rest of the building.
So can you say again that it sounds like we only out of pocket, all these improvements cost us $6,000?
I think it was $6,000, that's all.
So it does sound like we are spending a huge amount of money, and we are, but a lot of that is grant funded and offset. And to have all that insulated, this whole building insulated, have all new light fixtures is for $6,000, and all the savings going forward. Plus, we've got Jonathan Harkness, heavy duty, best, in the nation, living right here in Amenia, is helping us figure out what to do most effectively to save your money on energy improvements here at the town hall. So this is an incredible win. The NYSERDA grant ended up being
It's a tremendous amount of work.
a tremendous amount of work on your behalf.
It's a tremendous amount of work.
Victoria's and Darlene's, but thank you very much for making the decisions that you've made that weren't easy, but you've made them, and I think that all those improvements to this building is going to really pay off down the line, and that's the beauty of
And we,
leveraging
they replaced,
the money.
we bought all the light bulbs here. Actually, when the school district did this, most of it was brought up to speed. So we have all new light bulbs as we go, we're replacing the bulbs in these fixtures in the offices.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all been done also. That was all part of the grant.
Fantastic.
So that was done.
To more energy efficient.
Bulbs. So it's cheaper to replace the light fixtures in the hallways than to reconfigure them with the new light bulbs, because you got to change the ends, and they were concerned about if they break the lenses, they can't get the lenses and so on and so forth. So they bid it on a per light basis, and that's what they did. So that hopefully they'll be done Monday or Tuesday. They'll be done with that, and that should be the end of it. Actually, it's worked out pretty well, but it has been a lot of work with them. And Jamie Rivera, we're on a day-to-day conversation with her. Some days she wouldn't call us back. Some days, but that's all I've got. Any town board comments?
Well, I was just noticing, Marco has already left, the water report.
Yeah.
That for June, we had no water loss, 0,
Yeah.
which is amazing, compared to April and May, so the leaks, I guess, are all being taken care of.
They had a major one, but they
Yeah.
found it.
So that's good news. Yeah. And I just had one question about the hazardous household waste. Is that still happening August 4th?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. At the same place?
Yep.
So just so people know, August 4th, I think is that a Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but you have to pre-register the $5. And do you have the forms for that? If someone,
There's not a form, there's just a phone number. You call them on the phone and you register through the phone.
okay. So people can call the town hall to get that number?
Sure.
Because I don't
There's
know.
a
what it-
form also. I can give it to you.
I don't have the forms, I just have
No,
the phone
I'll give it
number.
to you.
Oh, you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if people want to know more about it, just call the
Okay.
town, call Patty, she'll tell you.
For the enhancement committee, we did not meet on Wednesday. We moved it to Friday, the 27th of July. So it'll be here at the town hall at 5:30. We'll have a report from the subcommittee that's working on Hamlet design guidelines, and we'll have a recap of the garden club tour, which was held on Saturday. The weather cooperated. It was very hot, but we did a good job. It sounds like they sold at least, 70 to 80 tickets, something like that. And thanks to all the volunteers, I know Victoria sat at a garden. CJ, your wife, provided.
Actually, I sold tickets.
You sold tickets?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And CJ Haas's wife Sunny did the food for, what was that, the volunteer?
I think for all of the
Garden
owners.
owners. Very, very nice. George Finn hosted a wine and cheese the night before, always lovely, and at his own expense, and beautiful garden, of course, and home. And then the videographer, I understand, came and did some videography of the gardens, which worked out very well. I can't thank everybody, but certainly all the volunteers, the garden owners, the businesses who provided enough money to buy all the publicity items that we needed, and then some, they raised $2,000 in helping us make the tour more, what do you call that?
Successful.
More successful, yeah, financially successful. And all of the proceeds of the lunches from Kildonan's, the lunches were sold at a very affordable price, $5 each, and all the proceeds go towards the daffodils and bulbs in the fall for townwide plantings. And we'll let you know, it's usually early October, and they're gone within a week or two, so you might just put a note on your calendar. But we have been very successful in giving away thousands of daffodils and getting them planted by the roadside, so you can look forward to that in the fall, thanks to the success of the garden tour. Also, for the CAC, they just met last night, and we discussed the wastewater treatment facility, the feasibility study, and they felt that for human health concerns in particular, they did find apparently in Amenia E. coli and in our water supply, and that's when they started putting chlorine in. So it has been documented that we do have issues here in Amenia, downtown Amenia, and need to get that cleared up. So that was part of their report. They also looked over David Connor's property and the issues there, and some of the other issues. I can't remember now all of it. but
Abandoned properties.
abandoned
trail
property.
to the train, which
Yep.
I missed, and there's one
Yeah.
other thing.
They did look at the trail to the train. We haven't had a full report yet, but the chairman, Dave Reagan, has had a chance to look it over. But we look forward to the full, each of us getting a report on the trail to the train study. I think that's it.
The band for this recreation thing is called Creation. So it's actually the Media Lions Club picked up the cost of that, so it's
What is
Good.
the date again?
18
Of
August.
August?
And you were thanking all of the groups involved with Hidden Gardens of Amenia for the dinner for all of the garden owners. Local farms donated produce and trout for the dinner. So,
Wow.
Hmm.
Who does trout?
Wasaic, the
Oh, the Wasaic farm?
aquaculture, that they
Oh.
brought a bunch of fresh trout over, and we got a lesson on, my wife and sister got a lesson on how to
Fillet or?
Clean
yeah,
fish.
fillet duckfish, whatever the correct term is. It was interesting.
Very good. So gardening and fishing is good. Did I mention July 27th? Yes, that's our enhancement committee meeting. I've been reminded that we needed a motion to authorize for the publication of this Community Development Block Grant public hearing. So I'll make that motion.
We did,
We did it.
we
Yeah,
did
that was
that,
We did do that?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
It was a resolution.
Resolution.
Ah, that was in the resolution.
It
Okay.
was in the resolution.
Okay, so Patty is ready to.
Yeah, I had Mike do
advertise.
that, so we could have it earlier this year instead of at the last minute. Because it's due in the first
It
part of
has to be
October.
included in the request, right?
Yes.
In the application. Good.
My one thing, July 30th at SUNY Orange in Newburgh, the Mid-Hudson Valley Sustainable Regional Plan, there's going to be a public hearing on initial results and where the plan is heading, and give the public an opportunity to ask questions and comment on some of the results that this group has put together so far. So July 30th, 6:30 p.m., SUNY Orange.
SUNY where? Orange County?
SUNY Orange, so it's downtown in Newburgh.
Unless I'm-
This is a Town of Amenia grant update. For Wasaic Trail to the Train, the draft design report is completed, and we've completed a grant claim to Hudson River Valley Greenway for $7,500. And we're seeking to, and for the New York State Dormitory Authority, $100,000 that we received from Senator Ball's office. We're seeking to document funding sources and provide an updated cost estimate. So that's ongoing. We're filling out the paperwork for that. Main Street grant, we're completing an environmental checklist, preparing a public information letter, and applications for landowners. We're hoping to have a meeting for landowners who live in the East Main Street area and can apply for this grant, hopefully next month. Willow Lane, the engineering is completed, and we're just waiting to go ahead with that. For NYSERDA, as Bill said, the grant expenses have been submitted for reimbursement. Fountain Square, most of the grant has been utilized for repairs. There's $7,000 remains in the grant. Did we get any bids for the
I've called a
memorial
few
bricks?
I've called a few people, so I don't know. Patty, did we get any today?
Someone did come in today. There's, 2 of them are out right now. 2 people came since you mentioned it last week,
Yeah.
and they picked up the specs, and I'm just waiting for them to come back.
Okay.
Good. Wasaic Trail to the Train, a $10,000 grant for design work was approved. We're seeking reimbursement for $15,000 paid to WSP Cells. Wasaic Park Trout Unlimited grant for $3,000. This grant was referred to the town CAC, and I believe they're working on that. And Phase 2 of Tower Hill Road hazard mitigation, the grant has been approved. We met with the emergency management. The Highway Department is seeking to move ahead with the engineering, which can be reimbursed, so we're working on getting the engineering completed for that so that we can start making the repairs to Tower Hill. There are quite a few things going on the first week in August. There's the Wasaic Project is having a music festival from August 3rd through August 5th. The Indian Rock Schoolhouse annual meeting and ice cream social will be held on Sunday, August 4th from 1 to 3. Come for the annual meeting, enjoy ice cream with all the toppings, and listen to songs by Indian Rock's good friends, Ed and Marianne McGee, and donations are gratefully accepted. Also, on August 5th, the Wasaic Auxiliary will have a pancake breakfast from 8 to 12 at the Wasaic Firehouse. Actually, it's going to be a breakfast brunch. Adults are $7, seniors $6, children $4. And the Amenia Wasaic Seniors Annual Chicken Barbecue, age 55 and older, at the Wasaic Firehouse is Saturday, August 11th. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. Barbecue chicken at 12:30. Call Orpha Thomas 877-0492 by July 27th to make reservations. And that's all I
Yes,
have.
Jan. Go ahead.
The July Bear Cupboard Dinner is a week from tomorrow at the South Amenia Church. This is a free community dinner, open to anybody. Just give me a call at 845-373-9620, just so that we are sure we have enough food.
What is the date again?
It would be what's Friday?
Friday is 20th,
It's the 27th.
July 27th.
The 27th is the last Friday of the month. This is, as I said, it's free. Donations are accepted if you want to contribute, but you don't have to. And it's time for anybody in the community who doesn't feel like cooking and would like to come share a meal with other people. And you're all welcome. And I did have one question. On the at Beekman Park, the softball tournament, and I'm not sure about this, Ian, but didn't New York State pass a law that there's no smoking in any public park where there are children present?
I'm not sure about that. I know there was talk about it.
I thought they passed it.
It
but,
could be.
But I just wondered if that might impact that event, and if so, the fire company should know about it.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll have to look into it.
yeah.
I know we've been after them down there about the cigarette smoking, so.
Well, I know that you're not supposed to smoke around
Well,
children.
some do, but I
I
know
know.
the coaches are after them ones that they're smoking,
Yeah.
so they're making them put them out, so on and so forth, so.
That's all.
And they did buy the bags for the dogs, so they're waiting for them to come in at some point. It'll be on a post down there, so people walk their dogs and take a bag and clean it up. They'll be there. So that's being done. The only other thing I have for the board is that you've gotten your the budget sheets have gone out, so we're starting a little bit early because it's my first budget, and we've got a lot of stuff to do. So we got to squeeze a lot of stuff out of that.
Hey, what about the employee handbook?
I'm waiting for the response from Jeff.
Okay, we don't have that yet.
Nope, I haven't gotten
Okay.
it yet. So I assumed he was, well, I didn't think it was going to take this long, to be honest with you.
No, I thought we'd have it by now.
I'll shoot him an email in the morning.
Okay, so we can get that done.
That's it for us. We're going to make a motion to go into executive session
I'll make that motion.
to discuss personnel matters.
Second by
CJ.
Councilwoman Reamer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
and Supervisor Flood.
Yes.